this time, his younger brother, Barney, you make your way on up here if you would, please. Barney is going to come and share some memories about ST and their life together. You'll hear him prayerfully as a younger brother comes to speak to us. God bless you, Barney. God bless you.
As was announced, I'm the younger brother of ST. I won't be 90 until next week, and he lived much longer than I did. It's my pleasure to say a few words about us. You have a good description of most part of his life, but there was a lot left out, and so let's look between the lines here. I asked your minister, well, what do you want me to talk about? He said, about 2 minutes. So ST and I had conversations over the phone most every week, sometimes twice a week, and I think next to the last time I talked to him, usually the first word was, well, how are you feeling today? He said, well, I'm going down fast. So he knew he was going down fast. As you see in your bulletin there, we grew up in the small town of Kittiquay in the Texas Panhandle. In case you're not up to date on your geography, it's 60 miles between Childress and Plainview. And one of the best kept secrets in Texas is where we used to walk around the Cap Rock. They now made a 14,000 acre state park in that. So that is one of the best kept secrets in that. ST and I was raised in a Christian environment. Mother and Dad didn't say, now you kids get up and go to church. They took us to church. We grew up during the Great Depression. Like many families, we were poor money-wise. We were so poor, ST and I had to ride our stick horse double. We were poor in money, but we were rich in spiritual. Some of the things that was not left out in this. ST and I cleaned up the First Baptist Church building for many weeks, and we earned $1 a week for that. We hoed cotton during the summer in 100-degree weather. School usually turned out where we grew up. School turned out for whatever time it took for the kids to get out of school and pull cotton. So we did that. We drove our cow to pasture. Our daddy was postmaster in this small town for over 37 years, and we swept out the lobby in the building for that. Now, these jobs were not a disadvantage. They were a blessing in so many ways. As we mentioned, ST was valedictorian of his high school class. It seemed, and some of us brothers and sisters was a little bit jealous, not jealous, but proud. He always came to the top, just like cream in milk. He captained his high school basketball team, and he was tall for his age. And he had more elbows under the basket in basketball than any person I've ever seen. There've been many a bloody nose come from ST's elbows. Most every Saturday night, we'd go to bed 8, 9 o'clock, but we always set the alarm for 5 minutes before 12. It was a ritual to listen to Bob Wills and his Texas Playboys from Kane's Academy of Dancing in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Bob, you may not remember that. But anyway, that's what we did. And ST had no formal training in musical instruments, but it was amazing how he could pick up any instrument and play it. He borrowed money one time, I remember, $2 or $3 to buy a guitar. He didn't have any know how to play a guitar, but he could pick it up and play it. He's one of the best fiddlers I believe I've ever heard. I think sometime I told him he was born 60, 70 years too soon. He's speaking then about his military. S.T. was one of the first three that was drafted before the war in Briscoe County in January of 1941. He served for many years in the cavalry, and he served many months, probably 3 or 4 years more, in the South Pacific in World War II. As the minister said, S.T. was close to God in many ways. He was close to God one way of helping others. He was close to God in prayer. One of his major concerns in the last few, months, weeks of his life, he was concerned about how leaders in government leaders in various positions have gotten away from God, the original Declaration of Independence, and the United States Constitution. May I share with you a recent quote from a recent letter I received from him, and I quote, "It is my firm believing that despite appearances to the contrary, that God is always in control. He governs in the affairs of humanity, even beyond human understanding." Not unquote. Even though S.T. did not live long enough to see this come about, I believe that he goes to his grave knowing that God is still in charge. There's a couple of stories I'd like to share with you about his military. Colin Powell is a retired Army, general, about as high up as you can get, and he was chairman of chief of staff in one of the Bush's administration. He told this story. "I've had a wealthy businessman come into my office and tell me what it was like for him to be a child in 1945 to almost await the arrival of these dreaded American soldiers. American beasts, as we were told. Listen to this. And instead of seeing a beast, he saw a smiling GI that handed him a Hershey bar. In thanks, this rich businessman from Japan was donating a large sum of money to the USO. And after thanking Colin Powell gave him a Hershey bar, autographed Hershey bar, and the Japanese man took the Hershey bar and began to cry. What I tell you this story is, S.T. could have been that GI that was handling the Hershey bar. With the passing of a loved one, a part of me also goes buried. But his contribution to my being happy and the strength I have and the understanding and forgiveness remains with me. There's a poem here that I think describes S.T.'s last few days. "We are spirits, that bodies should be lent to us, while they can afford us pleasure, assist us in acquiring knowledge, or doing good to our fellow creatures is a kind of benevolent act of God. When they become unfit for these purposes and afford us pain instead of pleasure, instead of an aid, become an encumbrance, and answer none of these intentions for which they were given. And it is equally kind and benevolent that a way is provided by which we get rid of them. Death is that way. I want to say that I appreciate the good work that I guess the women did most of the work kitchen anyway. We appreciate all of that. And I want to tell the children, ST's children, spouses, grandchildren, that we'll keep the heavenly circuits open, praying for, thanking God for the life of ST, and asking him to guide and direct you through the coming weeks. But don't forget to remember that the great physician still makes house calls. He's just a prayer away. Thank you.